So a while ago, I was stuck inside my own house because of a little thing called COVID. And I had a lot of spare time on my hands, so I decided to try and learn something, and that thing was game development. So I picked up the Unity game engine and I started learning. I did some YouTube tutorials and started making some really bad prototypes, but it was a lot of fun. So in this video, I want to show you some of the prototypes I had made, some behind the scenes of how video games work for those who aren't so familiar, and just to talk about my journey and experience learning the art of game development. Let's go. So this is one of the first ever fully fledged prototypes I had made when I was learning, and I just want to say quickly, I'm still a big dummy when it comes to these things. I'm still learning a lot, so everything you see here isn't going to be super sophisticated. In fact, I'm sure we're going to see a lot of bad habits in terms of code and design. But nevertheless, I'll show you some of the game now. So I've also got music, some of the UI working as well. So you've got options, change some things here, but I'll just get into the game. So I've got 3 maps I've made so far. And this was the first one I made, so let's just try that. Yeah, so it's first person snake. You just got to keep moving. In fact, you can't stop moving. And you just got to get little purple things here. Every time you get one, another one pops up somewhere. And you just want to go for the highest score. And if you crash into any of the rocks or the trees, it's game over. You got to start again. I'll just have a quick run here. And then let's see. Oh, boom, game over. And that's pretty much the core loop of the game. So this was the first island map we're on. That's us, the little white playable bean there. And all that happens when you start up the level is the game manager here will randomly spawn 6 of those purple pickups. And every time you collect one, it will spawn another one in. And I'll show you how some of that works. Where are we? Game manager. Alrighty, so I'll just skim through this. If you're not familiar with code, I'll try and roughly explain it. All that happens is you basically make little blocks here. So this block is called update. And how the code sort of works is it will just go through every line and run these functions, these little things I tell it to do. For now, I'll just leave it at that for now. And so spawn pickup. This is what happens, or this is the code that runs when those little purple things appear and spawn in. So what happens is it has an initial spawn area, or where it spawns is 0, 0, 0. So the very center of the environment at point origin, point 0. And here this is just saying by default it can't spawn, so it's not in a spawnable space or state. And these are just some constraints here. And so while it can't spawn, so it's not in a spawnable state, it will set its new spawn position to a new random position based on the constraints here. And this is basically just drawing a square, so the min position is the bottom left corner and the max position is the top right corner of the square, and these basically constrain it to the insides of that square. And so it chooses a random location based on that. And what's this doing here? And then it basically checks the area around it. So this is a clipping check I made. Basically just spawns a circle around where it spawned to check if it's going to collide with anything. And if it's found a location with all this that's on the land and is not touching anything, then we can spawn it. And this is just setting its position a bit higher up so it's floating. And then if it is spawnable, it'll stop this and then it'll end up just spawning the object. But if it ends up colliding with something or it's not on land, it will ignore these two and it'll just start back at the top here and choose a new position. And that's all that's happening with the pickup, and that's probably the most sophisticated code I've got in this whole project. But yeah, that's pretty much the core of the game. Now, I won't go into the same amount of detail with the other prototypes I'll show you, but around the same time I was wrapping up that last one, I was working on a couple of mobile games, one of them being a rhythm game called Drummy, where it's like a bongo Simon Says. And the other one being a marble game heavily inspired from an old PC game I used to play called Sky Roads. And currently I'm coming back to them every now and again, occasionally working on a new level for the marble game, and I'm actually trying to figure out a better way to handle some of the code and sort of how the rhythm works in the bongo game. Now there's one more game I actually want to show you guys, and it's one I've actually released on the Play Store. It's called Quash. It's this little one here. It's just a very simple arcade game. It's sort of speed, hand-eye coordination test. You just got to match the colors with falling blocks. I just really like that mini game. I think there's one in there's an old PlayStation game I used to play that had an official Mario Party, has a variation of it. And it's just about speed and matching the colors as fast as you can without making mistakes. And I put a lot of effort into sort of the vibe of the game. It's sort of retro synthwave with the synthwave music, the grid in the background and all that jazz. But yeah, at the moment, I'm just using Unity to make the games. I've got a paint.net as the thing I use to make textures or any 2D sprites or anything like that. I've got Ableton Live to make some of the music. And I use, of course, I use ChatbotGPT to help me with the code. But yeah, those are the tools I'm using to work through my games at the moment. And yeah, I think it's pretty easy and accessible to get into game development nowadays. But thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. Even if you skipped through it, I did the same thing. But thank you for clicking on it, at least. This is my first ever, like, vlog, devlog, whatever you want to call it. Hoping to get a little bit better at it, make it a bit more engaging, exciting for you guys. I am currently working on another video and another project. Quite excited for it actually. It's sort of inspired off a very old, great Flash game that I used to play when I was younger. And yeah, I'm looking forward to releasing that. I'm not sure if it's going to be multiple videos or one video with me with the whole process. It's looking like it's going to be multiple. But I would love to hear what you guys think. Did you find this video interesting at all? Are you familiar with game development? Any of your thoughts, I'd love to hear them in the comments. Look, I'm still pretty small channel, so I'm going to see all of them, so I'm trying to engage with you guys. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.